Hello, my name is Theresa, and I am here to share with you about what makes intentionally equitable hospitality a reality in my facilitation. And I'm going to start by telling you a short story. I started my career as a school teacher, and as part of that, I did a lot of student teaching. And so when I was 20, I was working as a student teacher within a large public school in Boston, where none of the students looked like me. And I was young and quite naive and quite new to teaching, and it did not go very well. So I'm trying to pass along this content, I'm trying to teach these students, and I got a lot of blank stares, a lot of disengagement. And I tried all sorts of little tricks to get it to work. And it didn't work for quite a while. And then my students and I had a shared experience where we had been invited to the Boston Historical Society to listen to a speaker. And when we arrived, rather than being escorted into the auditorium, we were escorted into the basement, into a white room with a large television screen, where me and my mentor teacher and our Black students were going to be watching the feed from a closed space where we could not interrupt or be disruptive. And that is when my entire relationship with my students shifted. And after that, I actually was able to teach. Because after that, my students understood that I actually cared and that we actually had a connection. Now, it's been more than 25 years since that experience, but it's a learning that I take with me into every experience that I facilitate. And that is that connection and care must always come before content. I have to develop some sort of relationship with the participants, even if I'm only going to see them for an hour. If I'm going to see them for multiple hours over the course of time, I need to develop that sense of care, which means paying attention to the little things, honoring who they are, where they are, and practicing curiosity. When I actually went to teach, I would stand at my door every day and welcome people in. I would say their name. I would ask how they were. I would ask how their families were. And again, I paid attention to the little things so they knew that I saw them as a whole being, as a whole person, not just a name, not just a number and a student in my class. And that's the same thing that I do today in my facilitation. So that is my first tip: care and connection before content. My second tip is that there is a leader in every chair. You may be the facilitator holding the space and designing the agenda and designing the activities, but it is important that we practice humility and that we honor the fact that each participant in our facilitation community is their own leader and can contribute as a leader to the community. So we need to step back from being the sage on the stage and open up the space for the wisdom from the others to emerge into the space. So that is my second tip. There's a leader in every chair. And my third tip is that every voice matters and every voice needs to be heard. As a facilitator, it's really important to recognize that not everyone has ease in speaking. Not everyone feels comfortable in a large space, but that doesn't mean that they don't have something to say, and that doesn't mean that they don't have a voice. So we as facilitators need to be very creative in employing our tools and our strategies and ourselves and allowing every voice to be heard in various ways, which means not always being in the large space, being in the small space, letting people write before they speak, and really allowing everyone's voice to be heard in a variety of different ways, because every voice does matter. So those are my 3 tips on how to create an intentionally equitable space. Number 1, care and connection before content. Number 2, there's a leader in every chair. And number 3, every voice matters and needs to be heard.